finally got one of those electric lighters that you can recharge. So cool. Ooh. So like crackly. Hi guys, it's Dustin. So it is February and Valentine's Day is coming up. Happy Valentine's Day. In honor of Valentine's Day, I thought we would chat about love. I hope you like the setup. I kind of wanted to do a POV, we're on a dinner date. Originally, I did want to actually eat some food, but I'm not hungry, and the thought of me having a plate of food and eating while talking to you guys disgusts me, mostly because I know I will accidentally talk with my mouth full, and the food I know will not look amazing because I did make it 2 days ago and I was just gonna microwave it and put it on this plate, and I know it's gonna look nasty as fuck, so I might as well just avoid the whole food situation altogether. I'm just gonna drink my glass of water. But if you guys want to eat food, feel free, grab some food. Maybe I can pretend to eat, like, yum. But other than that, this plate and these utensils are just here for the vibe. They're just here to vibe, they're just here to have a good time. I also want to point out, I did get ready for y'all today for this date. I did my hair, I'm wearing a nice button down.
Today I will wear my white button down. I'm tired of wanting more. I think I'm finally worn.
I was gonna wear a white button down, but I decided to wear this instead. We already got the white plate, white tablecloth, aka a bed sheet, white walls. We got too much white going on, just like in the world. So that the color composition, the color palette, contrast, main point. First things first, let's just get over with. You might be wondering, I wonder if Dustin has grown at all since the last Valentine's Day video, and since the last time we talked about love. I wonder if he has dated anyone. I wonder if he's gotten his first kiss yet. I wonder if he just has had any new experiences. No. I know, pretty disappointing. I have nothing in my love life to exploit for videos and views. I get it. On a real note, I will say I have been on one other date since I filmed my first date video a while back. I don't really have too much to say about it. It was pretty average. It wasn't worse than the first one, so that was good. One day I will tell a story time about my first date ever, but today is not that day. That is pretty much the update of my love life. I feel like every time I do these updates, it's always so sad and disappointing. It's not like I do these updates often. They're like months apart, sometimes a year apart, and nothing ever changes. Every time I feel like I do an update, I'm like, guys, it's still the same old, same old. I should stop doing them. I feel like if you've never been in love or never have gotten attention or interest from others, it has so many effects. I know for me, it affected my confidence and made me feel more insecure and ugly. It's weird for me because I do have this confidence in myself. For example, when I look in the mirror, I don't think I'm ugly. I look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, Dustin, you're not looking too shabby, you look pretty good. Also, I had to take a minute where I'm like, am I just like self-obsessed with myself? Am I not seeing correctly in the mirror what I look like? So I asked my friends and others, I'm like, truly, tell me honestly, rate me on a scale of 1 to 10. Just so that I can kind of have that reassurance, like maybe I have body dysmorphia or something and I don't know what I look like. Everyone I've asked has only reassured me and told me positive things. The most recent people I've asked, they said I'm a solid like 8 or 7. Like, that's pretty good. And I'm hoping that they're not lying to me because I tell them to tell me honestly. And I'm such a critic. I believe in critiques and constructive criticism so much, and I'm pretty good at taking it. Moving along, because I feel like I'm starting to sound cocky, even though I hate the fact that people can't just be confident in themselves and can't like talk themselves up and like feel good about themselves without other people thinking, oh, they're pretty cocky, like they're too into themselves. Let people be confident. Anyways, I grew up thinking that no one liked me because of my looks. For the most part, that was pretty valid. Throughout middle school and high school, especially. Now I'm here at age 19, and I have this confidence in my looks, this reassurance from others. But yeah, I still haven't experienced anything. So my brain is just so confused. I'm like, the math is not mathing. In my head, I'm like, okay, if someone's good looking, they have great traits, personality, whatever, equals someone liking them, relationship, love, experience. That's how the equation works in my head. I'm over here with that equation, and the answer is TBD. So I can't really put it together, and I just feel constantly confused, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong then? What is wrong with me then?
Just to know, I know nothing is wrong with me, and nothing is wrong with you if you feel the same way I do and experiencing the same things that I am. Love is just very complicated, and timing is unpredictable and different for everybody. I'm just explaining how I feel and think sometimes because I am such a logical thinker. My brain will not allow me to accept the fact that I can't control the odds of how my love life is. It keeps on treating it like it's science, and I have to do different things and edit certain things about myself to make this certain thing happen. And if you can't tell already, my personality type definitely leans towards more of the logical thinking side. So that's kind of what I was explaining here. But also sometimes I can't help but resent when people say everyone is on their own timeline when it comes to love. Don't worry what age you are. Because at the same time, everyone who says that stuff has experienced love in some type of way. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be 30 years old and have never dated anyone. You know?
This then spiraled into even more insecurities. I wondered if it's because I'm Asian and people are just racist, which I'm sure a part of it is because of how people view Asian men and how Hollywood and movies and media depicts Asian men in that toxic way where Asian men aren't attractive. We're always like the sidekick or the ugly character or the nerd. People are literally racist and they're like, oh yeah, I'm only interested in this certain race, and then cover up in the fact that it's just a preference. Spoiler alert, it's not a preference. That's so weird.
I just wanted to add that I totally understand if someone wants to date and is more attracted to their own race. For example, I know a lot of Asian people like to date other Asian people because of cultural similarities, growing up with the same morals, and just having more in common because of growing up Asian. And I'm sure that applies to other races as well. I do find it weird if a white person says they'll only date white people just because of history and everything. That's just kind of weird. And I do have some understanding for that. I just think it's more problematic when someone is 100% certain about it and adds emphasis to it in the way they say it. They're like, I would never date this race, ever. Or I only date this race. Because this one sounds racist, and this one sounds like you have a fetish.
If you're one of those people who are only attracted to a certain race, you got a lot of thinking to do. You got a lot of inner work to be working on. Oh, especially my Asian girlies out there. Come on. I have run into too many Asian girls who say how they're only into white guys. When people tell me that, I cringe inside so much. That is just the colonizers brainwashing you, I swear. I see too many hot Asian girls, Asian women, ending up with average looking white dudes. What are you guys doing? Okay, like love is love. Love who you love. But come on. Especially when they have nothing to offer, I'm just like, if they're rich, okay, cool.
Why is every pretty girl with a horrible looking man? I don't understand. You give an ugly guy a chance, he thinks he rules the world.
I need more water. I'm gonna be so hydrated after this video. Some of you guys might know I've struggled a lot growing up Asian, and I made a whole video about it, growing up Asian American and accepting my race and my ethnicity and what I look like. I've made so much progress, but I will say with the thoughts of me asking myself, is it because I'm Asian that no one likes me? That did take a few steps back. I did level down a little bit with that progress. 1 step forward, 3 steps back, as Olivia Rodrigo has once said. I've also asked myself, okay, if it's not because of my looks, is it my personality? Which is so weird for me because I've never really been insecure about my personality. I've always been confident in my personality. I had to stop filming because the garbage truck came and it was too loud, so got myself a snack. I've noticed I've been asking myself whether or not I came off too strong whenever I meet new people. And that is like the main question I keep asking myself. Did I come off too strong? Because I will say I do have a strong personality. I'm extroverted. I like to talk. Clearly, and I do have strong opinions. It's just who I am. I've always kind of been that way, but I've never really been insecure about it until recently. So with no one showing interest or ever liking me ever, I'm like, oh, it might be my personality. But I know I should just keep being myself, and if any person doesn't like me because they think my personality is too strong, who cares? That means they're just not a person that I want in my life. So I guess that's just something I have to remind myself. I will say though, liability by Lord, be hidden different when I feel that way. Just saying. You're a little much for me? I just start sobbing right then and there.
They say you're a little much for me. You're a liability.
I'm a little bit scared to say this because I know it's such an awful mindset and thought to have. And I know it's rooted in deep, dark insecurity. It makes me feel like a bad person every time this thought crosses my mind. But sometimes when I see couples or people who have gone into relationships or people who just have gone to experience any type of love, when I say love, I don't always mean love. Oh my God, fairy tale, they're in a relationship. I also mean holding hands, kissing, crushes, sex, all that. But sometimes I see couples and I'm like, how did they get into a relationship, but I can't? Like, if they can get into a relationship, I should be able to get into a relationship. This is because I look at their looks, or I know their personalities, and it makes me feel like such a bad person whenever I think this way. But also I know it's human and a lot of people have this thought and think this way. Clearly I have a lot of self-work and healing to do, but that adds on to the confusion for me. I'm like, okay, how are these people who may not be conventionally attractive or their personalities might not be the best, they might be boring as fuck, get into a relationship, but I can't? Hopefully that's not horrible to admit, but you know, I'm human, I'm gonna admit it. Another thing is because I've gotten such a lack of attention from others, I take any ounce of attention I can get and I slurp it up like it's an immortality potion. Like, I slurp it up like it's gonna add 5 years to my life. It's like someone shows any amount of kindness to me and I'm suddenly like, am I in love with them? I think I am. Do they like me? Like, they were nice to me. They were doing a basic human interaction. Oh, I dropped something, they picked it up for me. Oh my God, they are also in love with me. The last effect I noticed is that I tend to lower my standards a lot. Because I don't have many options, I take what I can get. The past 2 dates I've been on, aka the only 2 dates I've ever been on, I did lower my standards a little bit to go on them. The people, you know, they aren't the most attractive to me. I'm not really that interested. We have like nothing in common, but I convinced myself in my head, I'm like, you could still go on this date. They're like not that bad looking, you know, they're like a little bit interesting at least. And I try to act like it's gonna work. I try to make up for it in my head. I've talked to one of my friends recently about if our standards are too high or not and if we should lower them. I think we shouldn't lower our standards. I don't think there's such thing as having too high of a standard. I think our standards are there because that is what we want and that is what we deserve. So why would we lower our standards and date someone who doesn't meet our needs? Because in the end, I feel like that won't work out. Obviously not everyone's perfect, so one person might hit most of your standards but might not hit like one of them. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who don't hit any of your standards or are not really your type. So don't lower your standards, people. I say that as a hypocrite because I still do. But you shouldn't. Let's get into dating apps. This is sort of weird for me because I never thought I would talk about dating apps on the internet, but I feel like not many people do, so I might as well do it. Also, I feel like everyone my age has downloaded dating apps and has experienced what dating apps are like. So I downloaded dating apps when I was 18. I think I got it when I first started college, aka the one and only semester I went to college. What are my opinions on dating apps? They're not great, they're not horrible, but I never gained much from having dating apps. Especially because I downloaded them when I was living in my hometown, and it's not like there were a lot of fish in the sea where I live. All the profiles were so bad. I think it's something about living in like a small town where people don't really know how to use the internet, know how to take a photo of themselves, and know how to like make a profile look good. I shouldn't be saying anything because it's not like I even got matches. I thought my profile was so good. I've had other people review it and edit it. I thought my profile was phenomenal. Never get matches. I feel like I got like 1 match a week. And whenever I did match with somebody, it was always someone I accidentally swiped right on. I also don't think I've ever had a single good conversation on a dating app. The thing about dating apps is when people match, they do not start conversations. The thing about me is I refuse most of the time to start the conversation because I'm such an initiator already with all my relationships, friendships, and things. I am the one to text first. I'm the one to call first. I'm the one to make the plans. I've never really had friends who are kind of the same as me where they initiate. So when people message me first, that's kind of a key sign for me where I'm like, oh, like they initiate, to kind of weed out who is most likely an initiator. I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten pretty exhausted with doing all the work when it comes to my relationships. I made up that rule to kind of just help myself. Sometimes when a conversation would start, it would last like 4 messages total. It'd be like, hi, how are you? good. Having good conversation on dating apps is extremely hard to do. Not much comes from dating apps, at least from my experience. Just a lot of wasted time. I will say when I first got dating apps, I was like super excited and it was like fun for a minute. Like I had my friend download it as well. It was just like fun to see our matches. It was kind of just like a game, which kind of circles into my point of how dating apps are toxic. I feel like people see dating apps as kind of a game and not as, oh, these profiles are real people. And it's very vain. Obviously people will look at your pictures and will decide in a split second whether or not they're attracted to you. The reason why I think it's so toxic is because of how vain people are. And I'm not an exception either. I'm also extremely vain on dating apps. I feel like everyone is, because that is kind of the whole point and how it works. I also think dating apps are toxic because I know a lot of people who download the apps for validation. Like they will make a profile just to see how many matches they get to validate themselves and to like gain a little bit of confidence, which I feel like is not the healthiest way to gain confidence and reassurance. Also, I feel like dating apps kind of skew our view on what we're attracted to. You could see a person in real life and think, oh my gosh, they're so attractive, because you can actually see them in person and it's kind of like a close proximity type thing. But you could see that same person on a dating app and swipe left. I don't really know how else to describe it, but I feel like people are more attractive in person. Circling back to insecurity, I will say dating apps also kind of made me a little bit insecure. When I wouldn't get a lot of matches, I'd be like, oh, what's wrong? Or when a conversation would suddenly stop and like I'd get ghosted or something, I'd be like, oh, did I say something? Was my personality bad? And it just keeps cycling like that. As of now, I have deleted all dating apps. I just had this urge to delete them for some reason. I will say when I did delete them, I felt like I let go of so much negative energy. I also deleted Snapchat. We'll see in a few months though if I'll re-download them or something. I just feel like it's better for my mental health. Even when I had dating apps, I noticed after a while I would rarely even go on them. The sole reason I had them downloaded was so that it made me feel better that my profile was shown. I had that like chance of finding a date or finding love, because I do feel like finding dates and finding a relationship in real life is extremely difficult, especially in this day of age. Like everyone is on dating apps. That is how you find a relationship. So I thought if I didn't have them, it was basically like guaranteeing I would never find a relationship. After a while, I just got sick of it and was like, what's the point? Like I've had these apps for what, a year, and nothing has come of it. Just like that slim chance of finding someone was not enough for me. I low-key have given up on love. I notice as more time passes, I get less and less interested in a relationship and in dates. It's like since I've already gone this many years, it's like I'm getting used to it and I'm okay with it, which I don't know if that's bad, I don't know if that's good, because now I can just focus on myself. Especially since I moved, I've just been more focused on trying to make friends. Last thing about dating apps, I thought LA people would have better profiles, but tell me why I pulled up dating apps when I moved here and I was like, why do these profiles look like my hometown? DMs. Do people actually slide into DMs? Because no one is sliding into mine. I notice most people in my life who have been in relationships have been in those relationships because someone slid into their DMs or swiped up on their story. But tell me why that has never happened to me. I can probably count on one hand how many of those type of DMs I've gotten, and it's always like creepy people too. It's never been like someone my age and normal. In the past, I've said how I find it difficult to make the first move on people, to flirt. I'm the type of person who is scared of getting rejected, and instead of actually trying to pursue someone, I will just be their friend and be happy with being their friend, because I'd rather be someone's friend than making a move and having it being weird and then them being nothing at all to me. I'd rather just not take a chance and just be someone's friend instead. And I'm not the type of person to really get controlled by their feelings a lot. I don't really get crushes. I don't really have this overwhelming emotion where I'm like, I have to admit my feelings. I've just never been that type of person. One of my New Year's resolutions is to work on my confidence, but not in the expected way, more so when it comes to making the first move, flirting. I have this weird thing where I can't make eye contact with people when I go to public places, like at cafes and at gyms. I'm so afraid to look around. Like I always look at the floor because I'm afraid of accidentally staring at someone. Also, when I see someone in public that I think is attractive, I would try not to look at them. Even though they're attractive, I should be able to look at them if I want to. I should be able to, nice, you know? But I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like this. I look everywhere but them. And then I ask myself, I wonder why people never look at me. I wonder why no one likes me. Because you can't even make eye contact with people you're attracted to, Dustin. That is why. I just want to be more open and confident about flirting. Because I feel like I'm so behind compared to everyone around me. I feel like everyone is so good at flirting with people and letting people know that they like them. I'm so bad at that. I always hide it. It's so stupid. Anyways, this was a lovely date. I hope you guys had a good time. The food, delicious. I ate the plate clean. This wine, so lovely. It's totally not water because I'm underage. The flavors, the notes. I thought these were one of those glasses that could do this, but bye. Are we singing the outro song right now? Yeah? Okay. Was it something I said? Oh, fuck.